Hey guys, and welcome back. So today I wanted to go over with you guys my HSG results. I want to put out there that yesterday's video that I posted, it was a video that I had done almost 2 weeks ago, but like I told you guys, with the wedding and the wedding planning and then all the things that I've had to do in between, it's been so hectic. And then with my work schedule has changed really. I used to have like consecutive days off during the week, which I no longer do. So it's just been a whole ordeal really. But anyway, I decided that I'd put this up sooner rather than later because a lot is going on. So anyway, so where to begin? When we went into the doctor's office, I seriously thought that it was just gonna be something very simple. I didn't think it was gonna be anything like crazy, you know. I really thought that I was gonna go into the doctor's office and that he was going to tell me that I had a little bit of the blockage, but the dye took care of it, and what the next step was as far as treatment goes. So like you guys know, I've been thinking that I'm gonna go in to get an IUI. As it turns out, we go into the office, he goes over the lab work that was done. He says that he goes over the lab work and he goes over the sonogram, he goes over my follicle count, he says everything is great. He goes over he says my ovaries are great. He says that my ovary count is really, really good, that it's really high, so that's a really good thing. So he said all of that was great, and then he went further on to discuss what's going on with my results from the HSG test. So he went on to say that the left side of my fallopian tube is normal and that the right side is dilated. So what that means is that it's like big. And he said that essentially when the dye goes through, it's literally supposed to go everywhere. Like that's what you're supposed to see on the x-ray. However, the dye did go through, and based on the report provided to him, there was trouble getting it to go through. So there was liquid in the fallopian tube, which is what was kind of giving the dye a hard time to go through. He said that at the end of the fallopian tube, it's supposed to look like an open flower, kind of like an open rose pretty much, but that mine is more like this. So instead of it being like this, it's like this. So basically it's like a tulip, he said. So what happens is when the ovary gets released, it's supposed to go through here in the inside the fallopian tube where it meets with the sperm, gets fertilized, and then it goes into the uterus and attaches to the wall. So he said whenever you are getting pregnant, which is difficult for you, he said whenever you are getting pregnant, then what's happening also is that while the embryo is trying to attach to the uterine wall and all that, that liquid that was found in that fallopian tube that's dilated, it doesn't come out this way, but it goes back. It basically goes into the uterus and it releases toxins, and it could be a possibility as to why I keep having recurring miscarriages. So he was giving me all this information and I was just like quiet. I was like, wait a minute, I'm not expecting this. I'm expecting that we're gonna go into treatment, not that we found something bad. So with that being said, he said that this could be the reason why I'm not getting pregnant, and this is also this could also be the reason why I keep having recurring miscarriages. He said that liquid is a toxin and that it affects the embryo, so therefore that's why my pregnancies could be terminating. He said even though they live very, like my last one went really long, he said another thing that he wants to check is for blood clotting, where he said that while the embryo is trying to get all the blood from the placenta, a clot could form in between, preventing it to get that blood going into the embryo, and therefore cause a miscarriage as well. However, I did get my blood results for that today, and everything was good except my thyroid. So they said that my thyroid is at a normal range. However, that my thyroid level for fertility is like very borderline, so he's sending out for me to get lab work done again on Friday for pathogens, I believe it is, with the thyroid, in the thyroid or something like that. So it has to do, like, they're gonna do more in-depth lab work to check my thyroid more. So honestly, I'm getting hit left and right, guys, and this is just something crazy because I wasn't expecting this at all. So back to the appointment, when when he was explaining all of this, I was kind of looking at him like, are you serious? And he was telling me that the next step was to have surgery. I'll let you guys take that real quick. Yes, guys, so I need surgery. So they're gonna do a surgery on me. It is laparoscopic, and I think that's how you say it. I always get very confused with saying that word. So they do a small incision by my belly button where he will be able to put a camera in and he will look at everything. And he said that with HSG tests, sometimes because, you know, the x-ray is a little fuzzy, it can potentially show something worse than what it is, or it can show something, so it can go one of two ways. It can show like it's not that bad, and when he goes in there it really is bad, or it can show that it's really bad, and when he goes in there it's not all that bad. So he said that he wants to go in there to see what's going on. He said if there's any adhesions that he would remove them. He would see what the condition of that fallopian tube is, and if he feels that it's best to remove it, he will remove that fallopian tube. If he feels like he can repair it, then he will just repair it. So we don't really know until he goes in there. He said that with all things, you know, I have a good fallopian tube, but I also have an abnormal one, so that abnormal one can essentially affect the good one. So we want to make sure that I at least have one good one. He said that usually what he does is, if he does end up removing a fallopian tube, then the next step will just be IVF. But he wants to make sure first and, you know, take all the proper measurements before he makes a decision on a treatment. And with this result on that HSG test, the only next step is surgery. So guys, I'm gonna be having surgery. It's crazy, it's mind-blowing, it's scary, but this is what's happening. I've had time to really process it, you know. It's been almost a week because it was last Thursday and today is Wednesday. I scheduled the surgery today, so that surgery is gonna be done in November. I definitely, like I said, I want to wait until after the wedding to do anything, so we will be doing that in November. However, you know, it's just scary not knowing what the outcome is going to be. It's kind of like, are you going to remove it or not, you know? And then the recovery process, like how painful is it going to be when I wake up if they do remove it, or, you know, how soon after do things get done, like if he does have to remove it, if we do have to do IVF, like how soon after does that take place. I definitely did have a hope that I could be pregnant by Christmas, and that was definitely my goal, but I'm not entirely sure that that might be the scenario or the case. So I'm still very hopeful that, you know, with everything being done in November, that hopefully I'll be able to get pregnant by Christmas, so that I can have a good Christmas. Lately, you know, my Christmases have been so sad and stuff like that. It's been kind of like a downer. Last year, you guys know, I had a miscarriage, so my due date was in January, and when December came around, it was really hard because I had lost that baby and I wasn't gonna have a baby in January anymore. And now this year we were supposed to, you know, have Olivia November 2nd and have an amazing holiday this year, but that's not gonna happen either. So it's just, you know, it's a tough pill to swallow per se. So I'm trying my best to keep my cool and be very strong, but it is hard. However, I do know that this is necessary. I got answers which I was looking for. I now know why it takes me a long time to conceive, if I even get to conceive. I've conceived twice, and it's taken just about a year for each one. It's been tough. It's been a miracle that I've conceived, but I am getting recurring miscarriages, and if I were to have gotten pregnant again without knowing what my abnormal fallopian tube is doing to the pregnancy, I would have probably had another miscarriage, and that would have been my third one, and I would have gone off the edge, guys. So luckily we're getting answers. Luckily we're catching things that need to be caught and fixing things that need to be fixed. So this is what's happening. I don't know. There's pretty much nothing else to say, just that this is the process. You know, if you guys have any questions for me, definitely, you know, leave a comment or DM me. You guys know, you guys can always message me on Instagram. I'm there all the time, but this is it. So I want to keep this video short. It's already at 14 minutes and I don't want to make it really long. So that's all I wanted to let you guys know. I will keep you guys posted. The wedding is in 2 weeks, and it's so crazy because this is really happening. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support, for your continued support. I'm gonna need it. I will probably make a video before I get the surgery done, so that way I can tell you guys to wish me luck. If any of you have had this procedure done, please comment below. Tell me what your recovery was like. Please let me know like what your outcome was, everything, because I am nervous. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.